I'm not putting anybody on a moral plane. What I'm saying is this. You had a group on one side and you had a group on the other, and they came at each other with clubs, and it was vicious, and it was horrible, and it was a horrible thing to watch. I think there's blame on both sides. You look at both sides. I think there's blame on both sides. George Washington was a slave owner. Are we going to take down statues? How about Thomas Jefferson? What do you think of Thomas Jefferson? You like him?
These images project a profound idea of self, or of desperation. Lost souls on a pile of human confusion. The absence of any trace of empathy and genuine humanity is unbearable. The nightmare is buried deep in our consciousness, so deep that we do not recognize it at first. It says who you are. It says what you have become, the stubborn privilege of superiority and comedy. In times of despair, fear, and insecurity, people are looking for saviors. Any kind will do, but possibly one with easy-sounding solutions that others will pay for. But a complex world calls for complex responses, with at least some minimal agreement over the diagnosis. We never listen to the poor. Those who are less poor fear the loss of what they have, and they are rebelling.
Quel bonheur! Quel bonheur, mes amis, d'être...
We have been there before, without learning much. For some reason, we thought that in modern days, fascism would be disguised in bright, friendly colors, so that it would be difficult to recognize. But it is recognizable. The same roar when the leader speaks. The same hatred of aliens. The same violence. The same projection of wounded manhood. The frailty of power. The Western world is panicking. A delirious, spiraling panic, complaining about the clash of civilization, thus displaying the limits of superiority. Privilege makes you vulnerable, and panic, when blended with ignorance and bigotry, creates anger, limitless and blinding anger. Everyone else becomes the enemy. The fortress becomes a prison. Everyone else looking in at you. People die because they are hungry and can't protect their own existence. Others because they are persecuted or because they can't feed, protect, or care for their own children. Meanwhile, the pornographic rich are the new moralists. Most disturbing are not the images or even the terrifying words. Most disturbing here is the absence of ridicule and the silence of complacency. Any hint of decency has definitely been lost in the picture. We search for truth when we should search for meaning. The very existence of this film is a miracle. One day, an 18-year-old Palestinian girl strapped with explosives detonates herself in a crowded discotheque in Tel Aviv. When others think about revenge, I think of my daughter. What would have pushed her to commit such a horrific act? Would I call my child a monster? Yes, it is complicated.